Welcome back to the series of video tutorials on FreeRTOS on STM32. Today I am going to explain how we can port FreeRTOS onto the STM32. So before we move on to porting the FreeRTOS onto the STM32 microcontroller, it is all the more important to understand how a typical multitasking application looks like and what are the resources that are required to port a FreeRTOS application. So let's get started. So let's take a typical multitasking application using RTOS. So I'm considering it as a preemptive uh, RTOS scheduling. So preemptive means whichever is having the high priority that will be run by the scheduler first. Now let's look at this diagram. Here we have two tasks, namely task 1 and task 2, and the task 1 is having high priority and the task 2 is having low priority. So based on the preemptive scheduling algorithm, the scheduler will take the high priority task first. So here the high priority task is task 1. So once the scheduler takes the task 1 for the execution, and it will execute the task 1 for a certain period of time. So once the task 1 execution is finished, the scheduler will automatically switch to the low priority task. Here it is task 2, and it will execute for certain period of time. So once the task 2 is completed, that means the execution of task 2 is completed, then the scheduler will switch to task 1. This is how the multitasking application of two tasks looks like. Now let's take the some of the resources that are required to run the FreeRTOS onto the any microcontroller. Generally, to run FreeRTOS, we need certain resources. Those resources are listed here. First one is the core resources that are required for to run the FreeRTOS onto the microcontroller. The first and foremost resource that required here is a system timer. So basically, we'll call it as a SysTick timer in ARM Cortex M terminology. So it generates a system time. We'll also call it as a time slice. So ARM Cortex M architecture provides a 24-bit system timer, which is basically a down counter. So it is all available in the all ARM Cortex M devices, irrespective of ARM Cortex M3, M4, M7, or M33. And we also need a PendSV. So this is also a CPU resource or a microcontroller resource. We call it as a pended system call. So used for the context switching. And we also need another core resource called SVC, which is basically used to determine the which OS service is requested. So basically the SVC calls will be used for the delays in the FreeRTOS. Apart from the core resources, we also need a flash memory, around 10 to 6 to 10 kilobytes of flash memory, and we also need a RAM memory of around zero point 0.5 kilobytes, and plus the task stacks that we are going to declare for a particular task. So these are the overall resources that are required for FreeRTOS. Not only for the FreeRTOS, for any RTOS you take, these are the core resources that are required to run or port particular RTOS onto the microcontroller. Now let's look at the again the application that I took earlier to explain how multitasking application look likes, and now I am going to explain the same application with the resources that I explained in the previous slide. If you look at the execution of the FreeRTOS based on the resources listed in the previous slide, so as I told you, so SysTick timer will generate the time slices, so in an equal interval basis. Let's say if you configure the SysTick for 1 millisecond, and then the SysTick timer will generate the interrupts every 1 milliseconds, so that we will have a 1 millisecond period of time to execute a particular task by the scheduler. So this is how the SysTick timer generates the 1 millisecond. After the 1 millisecond expires, and it will also generate another 1 millisecond time slice. So this is what I called as a time slice. So for this time slicing, or to generate the equal intervals of time slices, we will use the SysTick timer. Then we have a PendSV, and we have SSV and other IRQs. So as I explained in the previous slide, we need these resources to execute the what you call FreeRTOS applications. Then, so how the FreeRTOS will execute the task or application task by using these three resources. I'm going to explain now. So anyhow, I have explained already. The SysTick will generate the 1 milliseconds period of time. So let's say, for example, as I told you previously also, the task 1 has a highest priority than compared to the task 2. So then initially the prior task will take the task 1 for the execution by the scheduler, and once the task 1 is completed within the 1 millisecond period of time, then immediately SysTick interrupt will occur. So that means that task 1 execution is completed by the scheduler. Then the PendSV interrupt will generate. So once the PendSV interrupt generates, that means that context switching will happen. So context switching means switching from one task to another task. This will be done by the scheduler. Now the scheduler will take the task 2 for the execution and he will try to complete the task 2 execution. Again the SysTick interrupt will come. Again once the SysTick interrupt will come, then eventually the PendSV interrupt will come. So based on this PendSV, again the scheduler will take the task 1 for the execution, because we are only having two tasks, which is task 1 and task 2. The scheduler will switch the tasks uh, from 1 to 2 repeatedly. For all OS suspended calls, SVC interrupt will be called by the scheduler. So based on that, the execution of the particular task will be suspended. So this is how the FreeRTOS uses the different resources, okay, to execute the FreeRTOS application without having any issues. So that's all for this lecture. That's all for this tutorial. In the next tutorial, we will see how we can port the FreeRTOS into the STM32 microcontroller. Thank you.